Dear chosen one, if you're reading this, it's likely because you feel it, that pull deep inside you. You've always sensed that your life was meant for something more, something sacred. Your spiritual path isn't average. It's filled with moments of clarity, deep knowing, and mysterious encounters that remind you of your divine purpose. You've seen things others ignore. You felt the presence of something holy guiding you. And through it all, there's been a whisper in your soul reminding you, you are chosen. But along this high and holy road, you might also find yourself struggling in ways that don't make sense. You're drawn to purity, truth, and purpose, but sometimes your body or your thoughts pull you in the opposite direction. You might find yourself battling desires, especially physical ones, that feel totally out of line with the kind of person you're trying to become. It can leave you confused, frustrated, even ashamed. You ask yourself, why am I still wrestling with this if I've come so far spiritually? But let me tell you something that might bring you peace. This struggle is not a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that you're fighting, and only those walking toward the light feel the weight of the darkness pushing back. Many people think temptation only comes to the weak, but the truth is, it often comes hardest to the strong, the ones who are rising, the ones who are chosen. You see, when you begin to awaken spiritually, your heart starts to open to things beyond the physical world. You start to hear the quiet voice of truth. You notice energies. You feel guided. But at the same time, something else begins to notice you too. The more spiritually aware you become, the more your light shines, and that light doesn't just attract blessings. It also attracts battles. As you tune in more deeply to the spiritual world, your sensitivity increases. You start to notice subtle things, feelings, thoughts, signs, even spiritual nudges. This is a beautiful gift. It helps you walk your path with more clarity, but it also makes you more open, more vulnerable. Because the same senses that help you hear divine guidance can also pick up on darker energies. Temptation becomes sneakier. It doesn't always look evil. Sometimes it looks familiar, comfortable, even loving. It comes not with horns, but in the form of your own unmet needs. It studies you, waits, whispers. This is especially true when it comes to lust. It's not just about physical desire, it's about deeper hunger. The hunger to be seen, to be touched, to be connected. These longings are part of being human. And yet, when we're walking a sacred path, these desires can become confusing. You want to feel close to God, but your body remembers being close to someone else. You want to stay pure, but there are moments when the need for touch, warmth, or passion becomes overwhelming. And in those moments, it can feel like you're betraying your purpose. But you're not. You're simply human, facing one of the most intense spiritual battles there is. This is where many chosen ones get stuck. The mind starts to turn into a battlefield. You can be praying 1 minute and get hit with a lustful thought the next. You can be meditating, focused on peace, and suddenly a memory or fantasy shows up, uninvited. These moments aren't just distractions. They're spiritual attacks meant to pull your focus away from your path. They're designed to make you doubt yourself, to feel unworthy. But don't fall for the lie. The presence of the battle doesn't mean you're losing, it means you're still fighting. The enemy knows your thoughts shape your reality. That's why he goes after the mind. He plants seeds, tries to distract you, tries to wear you down. But every time you return to your truth, every time you remember your purpose and push through, you grow stronger. Still, let's not pretend it's easy, especially when you're walking this road alone. Many chosen ones go through long seasons of isolation. You might find that your circle gets smaller. You feel distant from others. And while this solitude can help you grow, it can also make things harder. In the silence, all your thoughts get louder. The parts of you you've been ignoring rise to the surface. Old wounds, hidden desires, deep longings, they all show up. And without the noise of the world to drown them out, you have to face them. You have to sit with them. That's when it hits the hardest. You might feel strong in your spirit, but weak in your flesh. You crave divine connection, but your body aches for human touch. This creates a kind of tug of war inside you, a confusing back and forth between what your spirit knows is true and what your heart or body still wants to feel. You might find yourself drawn to someone, not because they're aligned with your purpose, but because they represent comfort or relief. You might chase feelings that fill a void but leave you empty later. These moments can make you feel like you're failing, but the truth is, you're learning. You're growing through the fire. And here's something else to hold on to. You're not alone in this. So many chosen ones are silently walking through the same struggle. They too are praying through tears, fighting unseen battles, trying to balance spiritual elevation with human temptation. And if this message is reaching you now, it's not a coincidence. It's a reminder, a confirmation. You are seen. You are not forgotten. And you are not disqualified because you're struggling. In fact, your struggle is proof that you haven't given up, that you're still reaching for the light, that you're still becoming. The journey isn't about being perfect. It's about being willing to keep showing up, willing to keep growing, willing to be honest with yourself about what you feel and why. When you start recognizing your triggers, your patterns, and your pain, you can start to break free. And freedom doesn't always come in one big moment. Sometimes it comes in the small, quiet decisions you make every day. To pray when you want to give in. To walk away when temptation whispers. To rest when you're weary instead of reaching for something empty. These little choices add up. They build strength. They build character. They help you align with your purpose. So if you're feeling the tension between who you are and who you're becoming, take heart. You're not broken. You're in process. You're being refined. You're shedding the old, making space for the new. And yes, it's messy. Yes, it's painful, but it's also holy. You were never meant to walk this path alone. That's why voices like this exist. That's why communities like this are forming. Because the chosen ones are waking up, and they need reminders. They need encouragement. They need truth. If this message hit home for you, it's for a reason. Something deep inside of you is aligning with divine timing. This might be the moment where something shifts, where you realize you're not fighting just for yourself. You're fighting for the people you'll impact, the lives you'll touch, and the purpose you were born to fulfill. Let this message be your reminder. You are chosen. You are seen. You are still becoming. If it spoke to your soul, drop 111 in the comments to affirm your alignment and to declare that you're ready to receive clarity, strength, and breakthrough. And if you're looking for more words that speak to the heart of the chosen ones, subscribe and stay connected. You are not alone on this journey, and your story is just beginning. There's something important you need to know. When you grow spiritually, when you start walking with purpose and truth, you get noticed. Not just by others, but by the enemy. He isn't careless. He's been watching humanity for a long time. He knows how to wait. He doesn't attack randomly or waste energy on your strengths. No, he focuses on your weak spots, the places you've been hurt, the patterns you fall into, and especially your struggles with lust. Lust may seem like just a desire for physical pleasure, but it's more than that. It's a doorway. Once you walk through it, you find yourself distracted, ashamed, and disconnected from your spiritual path. The enemy knows this. He uses lust to chip away at your energy and confidence. Every time you give in, you don't just lose a moment, you lose a little clarity, a little direction. It's not just about sinning. It's about pulling you away from your purpose, making you doubt yourself, isolating you, and keeping you hidden in shame. But here's the good news. Once you recognize the game, you can fight back. Knowing the enemy's strategy gives you power. You don't have to face it with willpower alone. You need honesty. You need to understand where your weaknesses lie. And you need to face them with courage and self-awareness. Pretending those weaknesses don't exist won't help. Facing them will. Sometimes, what you feel as temptation in the present is actually pain from the past. Maybe there was a wound left by someone who didn't love you the way you needed. Maybe you experienced abandonment, betrayal, or deep disappointment. Those hurts don't always stay in the past. They echo through your life. They show up as desires that seem hard to explain. They feel random, but they're not. They're connected to a deep need to feel whole again. Lust can feel like a fix, a quick way to feel seen, wanted, or alive. But it's not a cure. It's a bandage over a wound that needs real healing. No physical connection can truly heal emotional pain. What you really need is to be heard, to be seen, and to be healed at your core. And that healing starts with compassion, not judgment, not shame. When you understand that your temptations may have deeper roots, you start treating yourself with more kindness, and you give yourself the space to heal. There's also this weight you might carry, the pressure to be perfect. Especially if you feel called to a spiritual path, you might feel like you're not allowed to struggle. Like you always have to be strong, pure, and emotionally balanced. But that's a heavy burden. Trying to look flawless, whether for others or for yourself, creates more stress than strength. You start hiding parts of yourself, trying to keep up a spiritual image. But that doesn't make those parts go away. They just grow in the dark, gaining strength. One day, they erupt, and you're left feeling like you failed. But hear this clearly. Perfection is not your purpose. Wholeness is. And wholeness means being real with yourself, with God, and with others. It means letting all parts of you come into the light, not just the parts that seem holy. God doesn't need you to fake it. He wants you to bring everything to Him, your doubts, your questions, your desires, your struggles. That's where healing begins. When you stop trying to be perfect and start trying to be honest, something powerful happens. Maybe you've been caught in a cycle. You fall into temptation. Then comes the guilt. You pray, ask for forgiveness, promise to never do it again. But then it happens again. This back and forth becomes exhausting. You start to feel like you're not making progress, like you're stuck in a loop. You want to grow, but it feels like you're standing in the same place, just spinning your wheels. That kind of spiritual fatigue can be heavy. You begin to question your worth, your strength, even your calling. But this cycle doesn't mean you're broken. It means you need a new way forward. Repentance is powerful, but it's not supposed to become a trap. It's meant to lead to freedom, not frustration. And breaking the cycle doesn't come from trying harder. It comes from understanding yourself more deeply. Why do you feel tempted when you do? What are you really looking for in those moments? When you begin to answer those questions, you start to shift. You start moving from shame to healing, from guilt to growth. The truth is, you weren't made to live stuck in that loop. You were created to rise. Your soul isn't just here to survive, it's here to ascend. You have a higher calling, a bigger purpose. And yes, your body is a part of that. It's sacred, it's beautiful, but it's not supposed to control you. Lust is not just a test of self-control, it's a test of awareness. Can you see what's really going on inside of you? Can you choose a higher path, even when the lower one calls to you? You don't have to reject your body. You have to learn to guide it. Transcendence isn't about denial. It's about rising above. It's about learning to feel your desires without being ruled by them. That takes time. It takes practice. It's a daily choice. Every time you choose to pause instead of react, to pray instead of give in, to be present instead of escape, you grow. Each of those choices is a victory, not just over temptation, but for your spirit. This journey isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming whole. And becoming whole means transforming your desires, not just pushing them away. It means letting those desires lead you not to shame, but to deeper understanding. You begin to see that what you really long for isn't pleasure, it's connection, meaning, love. And those things don't come from quick fixes. They come from living aligned with your purpose, rooted in who you truly are. So if you're struggling, don't see it as a setback. See it as part of the process. Growth isn't a straight line. Sometimes you fall. Sometimes you stumble. But every step, even the hard ones, are part of your spiritual journey. And you are not alone on that path. There is strength available to you. Wisdom, grace, community. You don't have to fight in silence. You don't have to hide. Speak. Ask for help. Let yourself be seen. And most of all, keep going. Keep seeking truth. Keep choosing your higher self. You were not meant to be trapped by lust, shame, or guilt. You were meant to rise in love, clarity, and freedom. The path is hard, but it's holy. And every time you get back up, you prove just how powerful your spirit really is. If this message has reached you at the right moment, if something inside you is stirring, trust that. It's not a coincidence. It's divine timing. This is your reminder. You're growing. You're healing. You're rising. And you're not alone. Type 111 in the comments if this spoke to you. Let that be your sign of agreement with truth, with healing, with your higher purpose. Subscribe for more guidance made for your path. And you, dear soul, are right on time.